In progress.
Accidentally unmuted, sorry everybody.
Ooh, got some feedback again.
Okay, I fixed it. Accidentally unmuted one of the screens. Too many things going on. Okay, what do we need to know about Easy Speak? In my opinion, there are several things that we all need a reminder of, and I have to remind myself of these also. So those are the things I thought we could focus on, but it's geared also for people who are new to Easy Speak and those who have used it for a few years. We've been around watching this platform grow. First, let me start with a little bit of background. Easy Speak is a free software that is developed and designed by Toastmasters for Toastmasters, not Toastmasters International, but individual Toastmasters members who work together to create this platform. It does have support and some limited integration with Toastmasters International now, but there are a lot of clubs in the world that don't actually use Easy Speak. This club has a history with Easy Speak where we started with it about 6 or 7 years ago for the first time. We tried it for a couple of years, didn't work out that well, stopped using it because we were still paper-based. And then after a couple of years of being back to paper, we switched because Easy Speak had a little bit more functionality and we were tired of paper. So we're back on it. We've been on it for some time now. You'll see that when we get into some of the examples. The three main areas I think that we need to pay attention to. It's not quite looking at the screen. Look at this screen, Michael, you can see me down. Three main areas we need to pay attention to are your attendance and meeting management issues. Then there is the scheduling of speeches, and finally, your member record. I feel like those are the most important things that the average person needs to know about Easy Speak. I also want to let you know the screen you're going to see here is a little bit different from what you might see if you're not on the executive and one of the people with admin privileges. So just be aware of that. The pieces that I'm going to show you should be the same for you. All right, so first off, attendance. You can see that here on the screen, I have next week's meeting up. For the sake of planning, to help your chairperson and to help all the other meeting support people, it's really important that we go in here and say, are we coming to the meeting? Now, Candace set up these meetings a couple of weeks ago, so they haven't been there. You can be excused from not having gone in to state what your attendance is going to be. There are two different ways to do this. The easiest one is just to click the thumbs up at the top. I will attend this meeting, and I did it because yes, I will be attending this meeting. You can also do it over here. If you are not attending the meeting and you put a no, it's going to ask you for a brief reason. Please don't feel like you have to fill that in. Your reasons are your own. You can even write in nobody's business if you want. It's not that we're keeping tabs on you. Sometimes it's nice to be able to let people know. Usually if I'm not going to be here, I say why, because otherwise people might start to worry about me. My Toastmasters friends are part of my, as Michael likes to say, we're family. So people like to know what's going on. I think last summer when I was absent for about 6 weeks over the whole summer is the most I've missed Toastmasters in my whole career here. It was a lot. So when I'm the chairperson or when I know that people are going to come to a meeting, I will often just go in and fill them in myself. The chairperson will have the option to be able to click on that, but you probably can only say attendance for yourself, not for others if you are not the chairperson. So that's one thing that's really important for us. It helps us with meeting management. And it helps us. If you've been the chairperson, you can go back in and make sure you've got that attendance list correct at the end, because if somebody attended, we'd like to know, we'd like to be able to keep track of that. Next thing that we want to talk about after attendance is then scheduling. Now I'm going to go into my participation to show you what this looks like. When you're ready for a speech, and after CAM session, we're all going to be ready for some speeches. That's when you need to go into this scheduling section. So I will click here under request a speech. Now you can see there's a sign up for meetings, which, okay, fair enough. That'll help you with your roles, but there's a request a speech as well. I'm not really talking about the meeting rules today. We can worry about that another time. Another education session coming up. What I like to do when I go into this, oh, the box is not showing because it's a pop-up. Hang on, I'll do a new share. Pop-up. You know, I'm just going to share my desktop. Then you can see everything. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, what I like to do first is go into the workbook and choose the workbook so that I know what I'm working on. Now, how many times have you been asked to do a last minute something? Many, 100, probably. Do I always get credit for that? Almost always, because the first thing I do when I'm going to be scheduled is pop into my Easy Speak and pop into Toastmasters International to see where do I need something. The good thing about the Toastmasters program is that it's flexible. If I've been asked to do an ed session like this one, this is one of the rare occasions I'm actually not going to get credit because I didn't schedule evaluators today. But sometimes we have an ed session and then we have an evaluator. That's a great opportunity to get credit for something. Maybe it's for using visual aids. Maybe it's for persuading your audience or using engaging stories. Who knows? There's always something. There are projects all over the place and you don't have to follow the projects in order. So if you're not sure where could this thing fit that I'm doing, ask me. Ask Cam, he's VP Ed. He can help you out. So the first thing I do is choose under the workbook which one I'm working on. Now you can see that for me, I'm working on dynamic leadership and presentation mastery. Those are two pathways that I'm on right now. These other ones are all old things. So don't worry about those right now. Those are from the old program. So let's say I figure I want to put something into my dynamic leadership. When I open up, it gives me a handy record of all the things I've already completed. What's been done? What have I already accomplished and what needs to be done? So maybe we come and we realize, okay, I have this short little speech that has to be done and I'm introducing somebody to the club. So speech of introduction. I realize, hey, that's a social speech. So I could click on that one, social speeches. What this does in Easy Speak is that it pre-populates that item into the agenda. It gives the chairperson the little blurb that goes with that item, deliver social speeches, so that they can read that as an introduction if you don't give them another one. And it records it, which will become important later on when we look at your membership management, your scheduling. The other thing you need to do is go into your speech title, put one in, please. The more fun we can be with speech titles, the better. And your preferred dates. This is important also. Whatever your first date is, check that here as your first, second, third. If you have more than one preferred date, that's really helpful. Once you've done all of this, I'm going to cancel right now, but once you've done all this, your VP of Education is able to go in and then just accept your dates and schedule you for your speeches. All right. So we've done meeting attendance, we've done scheduling speeches. The last thing we wanted to talk about was reviewing your progress, seeing where you are. Again, that's under my participation. If you look right down underneath requested speech, you can see view my speech progress. Don't be intimidated. I've been in Toastmasters a long time. What's going to pop up is a lot of things that I've done. That's over many, many years. So the first thing at the top is going to be requested speeches. This is actually not very good because what this tells me is that our VP Education is not going through and crossing out speeches that weren't delivered for some reason, that were either canceled or that, because the only thing that should show up here, yeah, I wasn't trying to be snarky there, Cam. I'm just saying this was actually when I was VP Ed last time. Well, I did it. So what that's saying is that, well, for right now, I've got one going on. So that's happening right now. And you can see the little clock that says it's happening now, it's pending. But this one and this one shouldn't be there anymore. And you can actually see those even aren't even in our club. So I'll go in myself and get rid of those. Anyway, at the top is what your requested speeches are. Here's a tip. You can request more than one. I remember when I was getting going on competent communication at the early days of Toastmasters, I actually scheduled myself a speech every 4 to 5 weeks in the book, paper book, wrote it down because that was my target and that was my goal. We also had the responsibility in those days that if you were scheduled for a speech and you couldn't make it, you had to find someone else to take your speech slot because we were committed to having 2 speakers at every meeting. Of course, we had 20 members too, so it was a little easier. So here we go. This is where I am. This is my workbook matrix. Yours will probably look a little simpler because you're not going to have all of these items. Just realized I can't actually see Michael, so I need to, there he is. Okay, great. You're not going to have all of these items, but you can see where each level of the pathway, so dynamic leadership pathway, this is level 1. You can see that it's basically done.
level 2, level 3. You can see where I've got some more work to do here.
So you can track all of that quite easily. There's even more to it than that. If you look down below that, under your workbook history, it tells you all your speech titles, who evaluated you, when the evaluators, you don't even know most of these names. And it gives you all that information. Now, here's another great thing about this. If you go to another club, Easy Speak will follow you and you can get this information. So this speech, I didn't do this at this club, I did this at a different club, but I still get credit for it. It all counts together. This is a great tool when you're going back into pathways in Toastmasters International and thinking, wait a minute, I thought I did that speech and I don't think I submitted the thing to get it evaluated. Easy Speak will be able to tell you, yes, I did that speech on that day. This was my title. Then you can put it into Pathways in International yourself and make sure that you get the credit that you deserve. I find for me, usually Easy Speak is more up to date. So those are the 3 things I'd like you to focus on coming up, but I'm happy to help you through that because I know Easy Speak is not the most intuitive system. You know, the things that are designed by computer guys tend to be a little bit hard sometimes. So sign up for your meetings. Number 1, sign up as many as you can as far in advance. You can always change it later if your situation changes. Number 2 is sign up for your speeches. And Cam's going to help us make some goals related to that shortly, so that'll be good. And the third one is check your progress, see how you're doing. Easy Speak is a valuable tool. So I hope that you all got a little something out of that that you may not have had before. Mr. Chair. Oh, sorry, Michael.
No worries, it's recorded. I want to make sure you had your speech put in.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Samantha. And that recording will be sent around to the club so that we can all take advantage of those tips.
I could probably just share it and give people
Yeah,
link or something.
let's do that. Good idea. Let's just pause for a minute and reflect with Samantha. What's one takeaway? Let's all respond to this. It's a form of feedback. What's something that landed for you from that speech that we could just share with the group? So Rob and Michael and myself, let's all share one thing that we found helpful about that as a way to interact a bit with this. Michael, do you want to go first?
Yeah. I found a bit more clarity with Easy Speak because sometimes it's hard to navigate and find your way around. And to see the progress of all your speeches and all the check marks, it kind of really helps to see where you are and where you're sitting, because sometimes I haven't been able to find that, and now I can see it. I appreciate that very much.
Okay, thank you. Rob, what stands out for you? Yeah, you come on up.
Yes, thank you for that informative speech. The one thing that I took away is that it doesn't actually have to be in order. Not all speeches were logged in, and so exactly what I had to follow, and that's just, but yeah, it was cool doing that.
It is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because all of a
Very
sudden
good.
they can start filling up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one takeaway is it's reminded me of my task as VP of Education to keep, but that was good. I said it earlier, I need to be reminded of things I've forgotten about. And also I do like the flexibility, and I'm looking at it through the filter of the VP of Ed, which also has the responsibility of meeting management and ensuring that roles are filled and so on. And I think the tool is there. I just want to encourage people to be proactive and plan ahead. And I need to do the same thing. I need to set an example, be a little more of a planner, which is what our next session is about. So let me make a segue to talking about where are we going from here? Where are you going from here? And where am I going from here? I think there is tremendous power in planning ahead and looking at the goals that we want to achieve, and then from that goal, setting our action plan in place. A couple of things that come to mind when I think about goal setting and planning and doing this kind of exercise is, number one, we need to be realistic about what our capacity is for engaging in Toastmasters and in Rise and Shine. Because we all have different time limits. Some people have more flexibility at their season of life. Other people can only give themselves a certain amount and sign up for so many things. So I think we want to help each other find our lane and find the pace that we want to go on. So I think we don't want to put so much pressure on ourselves that we're actually going to want to quit and not continue on in our growth. So I just want to say that up front, that we respect where each person is, and we want to come alongside one another and support each other. One of the factors that I think will help this to work, and I know we've talked to Michael about being a mentor for Clay. Once Clay is able to be here, then we can help him. I'm meeting with Rob and helping him on his journey. And I really think all of us need somebody that we're able to talk about our plan with and actually get this work done. There's so much more strength in kind of that partnership type model where we have some accountability, where we can actually show up either online or at a coffee shop and say, let's work on the next speech, or I signed up for the chair role and I need someone to help me to prepare for that, or any of the other roles. And I think this applies to speeches, plus any other role that we want to take on, that I would like us to be proactive and plan ahead. One of the things that I have done in the past, I haven't done it yet, is had people sign up for the chair role ahead of time. Used to send a sheet around. Okay, let's get our chair people lined up for the next month, and I want to start doing that again.
Yeah.
What I want us just to focus on a little bit now is just give each person a little bit of time to reflect on what is it that you want to accomplish. Michael, how much time are you giving me? I see it's red already.
So I think it's still red. You just forgot.
No,
You're muted, Michael.
I thought this was all input from Samantha, so I'll give you 3.5 minutes.
No, this is me now. That's
Oh, I'm
not
sorry.
how I did it.
No problem. I got you on time. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine, because I thought we're just nicely getting started and I already have a red.
No, sorry about that. No,
Okay.
my mistake.
I would say, give it another 7 minutes and that should be adequate. All right, so I don't know if I asked everybody to come prepared with some kind of a plan, some kind of a goal. And what I'm thinking here is when you look over the next, I would say 4 or 5 months, even up till February, end of February, what exactly, and think speeches in particular, how many speeches do you want to actually deliver? And maybe some of those are ed sessions. The other roles, I'm going to leave those off to the side in the planning. I think that can be a part of it, but seems to be the motivation to get signed up and plan for speeches is where I want to focus our planning time today. So let's just, if you already have something, what I'd like to do is just go around the room and let's just share a little bit of our plans, and we can interact with each other and help each other to figure out exactly what's realistic, what do we want to accomplish. I think it's also important to know, do we know where we are in pathways? So let me start with that question. Does everybody know? That's a closed question. Let me try an open question. Where is everybody in pathways? Let's start with that. And I'm going to just jot a few notes down on this board. And then we'll go to the part B, which is what do you want to do with your speaking plan? Michael, where are you at in pathways?
Right now, I'm at presentation mastery 2.3. I think there's one more piece to finish number 3.
Okay, so that's the second, they're in levels, correct? Is that the right language? So you're on the second level, the third speech.
Yeah, third speech or presentation mastery. Yeah, so the second,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Rob?
I am currently on the first level.
Right.
Second speech.
Accomplished. You did your icebreaker and you're in presentation mastery forward. Yeah. Samantha, where you have 2 pathways going on.
I have presentation mastery. Well, and I just got this camp is not cooperating. And I have dynamic leadership, presentation mastery. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my transcript.
Sure.
I am at, okay, so dynamic leadership, I have finished level 1 and level 3. And I somehow didn't do level 2 yet.
Okay.
So that is my immediate goal, is to do level 2.
It gives our club credit if I complete, I think, 4 levels, but I noticed that there are only 5 levels in dynamic leadership. So I think my long-term goal for at least this next 4 or 5 months is going to be just to complete that entire pathway.
Good.
Presentation mastery, I have completed levels 1 and 2, and I'm currently in progress working on the elective projects in level 3. So I should be able to complete up to level 3 or 4.
Okay, so you said you're finished level 2. In
Yes.
presentation, okay,
Correct.
and Michael is on. And Rob is on 1, 2. And this, your goal is to complete this dynamic leadership in the next
Mhm.
5 months. So we're in October, end of October now, so we got November, December, January, February, 4 or 5 months. Okay,
I haven't completed any pathways yet, so I got
right,
my
I haven't either.
DTM recently, and that was it.
And I'm working on 2 as well, and I love lately, and I don't want to use the word ashamed because I've been learning a lot about shame. It's not helpful. But my honest reflection is I need to go in and see where I am. I have been hopping around a little bit in the leadership pathway because I've gotten stuck on one of the speeches. And I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but
Yeah.
that project is a bit bigger than I want to tackle. So then I've just been hopping around. I need to get back in there and kind of bear down and get some things done that I'm stuck on. So I want to finish. I want to at least get 2/3 of the way through the one pathway that I'm working on right now. And I think I picked another pathway because we could get one for free back during COVID. So that one, I think I did an icebreaker and that's it. You'll just have one, Rob. But I got a second one because I think you have to pay for the second one in Toastmasters if you want another path.
Okay.
That's why some of us have 2. So I'm going to, I want to figure out where I am. That's my goal. So that kind of answers the first question. And then the goal would be to, once I figure that out, to determine what's realistic. I really think what's realistic for me is probably 1 speech a month. And that'll be my goal between now and probably the end of March, is to plan to give 1 speech a month. So let's hear from Rob and Michael a little bit about, okay, looking forward the next few months, what do you hope to achieve? What would be a realistic goal for you?
For myself, I think I'd like to finish my presentation mastery. I mean, I've been kind of slow on it, and I think it's realistic to finish it by the end of the year. Toastmaster year it is.
Finished by June.
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Okay, so
That's a big one.
that's definitely. So then you'll have to decide, when is your next speech? Because I know one of the challenges you have lived with is not feeling ready. So you'll have to overcome that barrier that you've experienced.
Yes, I hear you. I know. That's the thing. I got the encouragement and the compassion from the club, and I want to pretty push on it. So maybe in the next I think in the next 2 weeks I'll have it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get specific. By what date are you going to sign up for a speech?
Okay. The date right now, 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
So what's that in the calendar? Let's have a look. That would be November 4.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, Rob, what do you think is realistic based on your baby that's coming and work schedule?
Yeah, so my original goal was to do 1 a month. This has changed due to, I'm doing a marriage enrichment course in the next 5 weeks as well,
Okay,
which is 1 evening a week plus homework.
Yeah.
So I'm already gonna get in trouble for being too busy, so.
and that'll come up in that marriage enrichment
Oh, yeah.
conversation.
So I was hoping to get one done by the end of November. I know that seems like a lot, but
No, this is like I said,
it's probably time away, but I think that's pretty realistic.
okay,
But in the meantime, I know we're not talking about roles. I do want to get going and try out each role as
That
well.
is an excellent
Because I
goal.
can't,
I
I
think
might not be able to do long speeches, but I think I can, like this inspiration thing.
Yeah, and what I'd like to do is,
Last night, but
I'd like to prepare you, sorry to cut you off, that is not what I wanted to do. Finish your.
So yeah, I was just saying, just like I did with this leadership, this inspiration speech last night, it was a bit rushed, but I wanted to be able to start learning how to take on each role. To be more part of this club as well.
Good, that's excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna write that down as one of your goals here. And remember, you need to be writing these down. This will be erased in just not too many minutes from now. So know what you're saying. I'll take a picture of it, however. And I might even, to reframe what I just said, I might put this in a bit of a document and share it with the group.
Yeah.
So, which I think is a better idea.
I think we should ask those who are not here to also contribute.
I think so.
Why don't we make it something like a Google Doc where everyone can add their own goals as well?
Yeah, create a,
It can be a living document.
You know, are we gonna go to visit this page once a month kind of thing to try to keep people accountable?
That's what we did before, maybe every couple of months.
yeah, I think that'd be an excellent idea. Yeah.
Great
And the
suggestion.
other thing I'd like to do, Rob, is you and I can sit down and I can prepare you for the chair role as well.
Yeah.
And I can totally get and then you'll get into easy speak. You'll learn as a chair, you have the admin power for that week. So, and that can be something you take on over the course of a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Learn the role, prepare the meeting. Yeah. All right. And I think I've shared for myself, I'm going to figure out where I'm at exactly and then give one speech per month. I think I just want to make that a regular pattern. And the other thing that I really want to do is I want to have my speeches prepared farther ahead than on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I have a habit of thinking I can just sort of throw these speeches together. And I don't like that pattern. That's become a bit of a pattern. Like when I was doing competitions, I worked hard on those speeches, practiced them, well, maybe weeks ahead. Right? So I think I'm just saying to myself, there's some habits that I want to kind of undo and practice some new ways of doing this. So be a little more. Okay, and I'll ask the people who are not here, this recording will come to you, for you to tell us in this Google Doc, where are you right now? And then put a bit of a plan in place, some goals for what you want to accomplish. It could be roles, but it definitely, how many times, how many speeches do you want to give? And let's encourage each other on our journey, because leaders are learners and we're all learners together. Question?
More of a contribution.
Yes.
To say that we have a good reason to meet these goals. We're here not just because we like to get up early on Friday, because I could have used another hour to go to sleep today.
Yeah.
We're here to stretch and grow. So I think Cam's reminder for me was a really effective one, that I also have a habit of pulling together the Thursday night speech or the Friday morning in today's case. So it's important to try different things, try new things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at the extemporaneous pull it together. I know, Michael, you don't like that word. At the last minute, pull it together and say something meaningful sort of speech. But I'm not here to keep practicing that skill. I'm here to try new things and different things that I wouldn't otherwise get the opportunity to try in a safe environment. So
Yeah.
that's one of my other goals, is to try the different things and
Good.
stretch. It's important that we remind ourselves of that. Another great reason for us to do this is we can get club points and a new ribbon on our band.
There you go.
Distinguished club progress.
Exactly.
We are at 15 minutes because it was Ned's session, but
We're done. And I've already shared my last little pitch in the end. I'll share this with the club. We'll send the recording around and we'll get a Google Doc going that we can share, put our goals in there. Thank you, everyone. Now let's do a transition. Michael's got some humor to share with us. Let's go for that right now. And then we might have time for one, maybe two table topics.
right. Mr. Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Reader's Digest often has a few nuggets worth a laugh or two.